Good evening. Thanks for coming out on this very wet night. Could I ask you to please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, and one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for coming out on this interesting evening. I'd like to announce that we did have an executive session prior to this evening's meeting. It was legal negotiation discussion regarding this property. Is there a motion to approve the agenda dropping item 12G, which is really not ready for distribution? That's the approval for the comprehensive plan. We're going to drop that off the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an agenda. Let's get rolling. Kyle.
No updates to share.
Mr. Rongus, anything to share?
Yes, I have a couple things. Thank you.
The younger Mr. Rongus, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's, sorry. Yes, thank you.
No, Chief Holdsworth submitted the report electronically for you guys to review. So you guys
Which one do you want?
Andy.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Was there anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, no, I do have a report.
Okay,
He
please.
is the younger Mr. Wrong.
The older one, then I guess we'll have.
I do have a couple things just to follow up from last month's meeting. In regard to the questions on the parking spaces at 144, 146 State Street, the Liberty parking. We have confirmed that the borough does own both of those parking both of those parking lots. There are 30 spots, and that the 30 spots every year, the owner, LGB Properties, does pay the corresponding going rate of the parking places, the rental space for each of those 30 spots. It is a 10-year rotating lease, meaning that each year it then extends for another 10 years. So if the borough wanted to get out of that lease, they would need to give notice in July, and 9.5 years later, they could get out of it. I think that should clear up any of the questions that perhaps were had, but see some shaking of the head, but we'll go from there if not. We can answer any other questions that may be available on that. In regard to 120 Marshall Street, there were some questions on that and the parking places. With that, we did confirm that the agreement of sale did specifically speak to the parking places transferring with the property. In addition, the Borough Council minutes from December 7th of 2022 did also note in the motion that those parking places were changed from 6 to 9, and it references the agreement of sale. So therefore, we believe that transparency was certainly met in regard to the requirements there. So again, if there's any other questions on that, we can certainly address them as necessary. And then finally, there was a question regarding the recusal protocols that council uses, and we did review that. And although generally the policy that council has been using is that an email is sent to the secretary as being the written notification, we're recommending, and we've provided to council a recommendation that we tighten that up just a little bit, in the sense that in the beginning of the year, council will provide a written memorandum to the secretary indicating any known conflicts or potential conflicts that they're aware of. They sit on various boards, or, et cetera, et cetera. And that will then be made a part of the public record and referenced in any of the minutes and attached to the minutes. And then during the course of the year, if there are any votes that come up that aren't referenced or referred to in that memorandum, an email will be sent that will serve as the written notification. And that email will be printed out and made a public record and attached to the minutes as well. So with those recommendations, that's my report.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Rongus.
Chief should have submitted the report to council mayor electronically for you guys to review. Outside that, I don't have any.
Okay. I do. I'd like to share that Lieutenant Rongus actually graduated from the Northwestern University School of Police and Command program recently. So another a great addition to his skills and the leadership of our police folks as well. So thank you and congratulations. Yep. Is anyone from Longwood Fire Company here? I do not see anyone. Let's get into the committee reports. Joel, Finance?
Yes, sir. The Finance Committee met on June 26th this past month. We conducted a review of the police and parking finances with the chief, and everything looks pretty good. It's on track and in good standing. And then we did the usual work of meeting minutes and bills paid, which we will vote on later this evening.
Thank you. Anything on development, Kathleen?
The planning commission is still working on the comprehensive plan going forward. They're got their subcommittees together, and we'll be hearing about HARB later this evening.
Thank you. Timothy, anything to add?
Yes, sir.
Julie, community development?
No update from June.
Mr. Mayor, public safety, Kathleen?
No, our public safety meeting this month was fairly brief. We talked a little bit more about some of the issues that we want to see the parking study address. And so we talked about what that could look like. We also talked about 2 events that are not yet on the agenda. So it was a pretty light agenda this month.
Thank you. The Candidate Fire and EMS Commission, I actually attended last evening. They had a meeting. They're looking at developing their allocation formula of how each township gets charged. We already have a contract for 26 as well, so it doesn't affect us, but they're going to be doing that earlier this year. Also looking at what their capital needs are. There's an awful lot of catch up because no capital was put aside for a couple of years when the commission was just started. So they're trying to reasonably catch up on that. They also formed 2 groups, which I found very interesting. There's a financial data working group whose mission is to determine what standard financial reporting should come out. And that's certainly been an issue that the borough has had over the years as well. So thrilled to see that. And then secondly, they've got a task force within the commission looking to hire a regional commission administrator, which is another key point that the borough had asked for quite a while. So thrilled to see that. Allison, who's the manager at Kennett Township, has been the acting administrator, and at least in my opinion, has been doing a phenomenal job of really professionalizing and following through on some of their commitments and making it happen. So they're looking to hire a part-time administrator by January of next year. Next, anything from staff development, staff support, Kathleen?
We're close to getting the personnel committee handbook or the personnel handbook sort of passed through. We have a few more little things to cover on that.
Okay. That's on the agenda for this evening. Are we keeping it on the agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I have a couple of things that I'm kind of excited to share. The first is that we received word on Friday that the EPA approved a new product for forward fly mitigation at the farms. I'll be sending out information on that probably Friday or Monday. The folks who created this product, and we're really excited about it. It is a net. It's netting that kind of looks like a screen that has a chemical on it that you lay over the mushroom beds, and as a fly flies up to it, it gets coated, and then it kills the fly there. And it's a very safe product. You can touch it with your hands, you can do anything. And the nice thing about it is it can be used multiple times. It's been tested in a couple of hundred farms and had really good results. But what's nice about it is they can roll it out and they can then raise it up when they change the beds over and put it back down and get multiple uses out of it. The company that manufactures it has flown in. They arrived last night. They are working with 2 local distributors to be able to distribute the product and do training for farms on how to adopt it. What's really exciting is that this was approved under what they call emergency local use. So when we issued our emergency declaration, it allowed them to apply for emergency approval for local use. So the product is not necessarily approved nationally. They looked at studies done by Penn State. They looked at the farms. They looked at everything, and it got fast tracked. We probably saved off somewhere between 12 and 18 months by using our emergency resolution, which is a huge deal. And the results are very, very encouraging. There's 2 other solutions that we think will be approved also before maybe October-ish. They think they'll be able to submit final reports on that are, without taking too much time, nematodes and mites that are active within the soils that eat the larvae as soon as they are created. And we really believe, and the studies show that if we combine multiple of these uses, it should make a significant decrease in the forward flies. The farmers are very happy. AMI, which is the American Mushroom Institute, put out a significant letter about it today. Farmers are happy. It's very affordable, and it should reduce their crop waste from forward flies, and it should then start to spill over to homes. The big challenge, of course, is that these are best practice management tools that are not yet codified or required for use. I did send a email to the Secretary of Agriculture on Tuesday asking that they start to look at a fall implementation and requirement along with other tools that we can use to enforce it. And I got a positive response back. So I'm very excited. I think we are leaps and bounds ahead where we were 8 months ago. We're way ahead. So Council, I appreciate your support in extending the emergency resolution. I think we're going to see some really good things there. So that's one. If anybody has questions on that, council-wise.
Just if the netting is at the farms, there's less likelihood of the
Leaving the farms.
flies getting out.
Yeah, the biggest challenge we have is going to be, we need everybody to adopt these things because the fly population, when it goes to residents, is when they're going from farm to farm. So when somebody's not mitigating it and they leave that farm in search of their next farm, that's when they go to residences, is when they're traveling. So what we have to do is we've got to figure out a compliance. I've asked as well for more grant money for implementation and training. So we got $500,000 at our first request for steaming off equipment, of which they've given out, I believe, 10 grants already since February. And so I've asked for more grant money for training and for implementation. So we'll see what we get, but I'm really excited about that because it's something that's going to make people's lives, quality of life better. Number 2 is we had our first NVF question and answer Q&A informational session last week. Just as a reminder, that session is designed for questions and answers, more so information. It is not for policy. It's not for council to make decisions. It truly was designed and is designed for residents and stakeholders who have concerns to say, I want to know this, I want to know that. And for us, myself and Councilmember Sprick, and for our codes enforcement officer to go get the answers, right? It's not for us to have all the answers. It's what do you care about the most? Let us find you the answers so that we can help you. We accomplished that in a way that I thought we walked away with a good list of questions. I will be able to put together a response on at least 4 items by Monday that were asked. Specifically, there were questions about the water tank, the water tower, and several things. So we have good answers coming on some of that. Number 2 is I had a joint call with DEP and EPA on Thursday last week. And it was a great call. We had 12 folks on there from DEP. We included the regional directors. It included the project coordinators. It included scientists that were there. I was expecting to get one PR person who might just entertain my questions, and they gave us the whole gamut. I was able to to give them some concerns and find out. They have agreed to come in person to Kennett, DEP and EPA, and put on a public presentation to share how DEP and EPA reviews and ultimately issues certificates of having met all the requirements. So we're working on a time. We may wait until early September so folks are back from vacation. We can have as many people participate as possible. But I'm really excited that the director, when I sent my note in, I got a phone call the next day from the Secretary of DEP, from the Department of called me directly and said, what do you need? How can we help? And then they put folks on us within 5 days. So incredibly helpful, incredibly resourceful. We'll give interim reports, but I think we're going to have a really nice public meeting with regulatory bodies to really understand that. Followed then again by updates from the developer on what they have and haven't done based on what we hear from DEP and EPA. So those are two things that I think are really helpful, and hopefully we will benefit from it. I think that's it.
Thank you very, very much, Matt. Appreciate it. Just a couple things I wanted to share. One is just the gratitude from myself and the town for what you've done on the NVF project. The safety of that lot is a great way to kind of kick it off. I know there's a lot of concerns and questions, and that's wonderful. Thank you for that initiative. And also on the flies. I mean, that's you're bringing us miles and miles ahead of where we were, and I just think that's special and needs to be recognized. Thank you very much. I know Representative Sappi has also been very involved in.
He has been critically helpful and important. I apologize for not bringing that up. You wouldn't believe the mountains she has moved in Harrisburg to make this possible. Truly.
That's terrific. And coincidentally, we have Mariana Sanchez Lara, who's actually an intern from Representative Christina Sappi's office. She's a New Garden resident. We won't hold that against you. That's okay. But also a Kennett grad as well, and she'll be a junior at Northwestern, I think you said, this coming semester, and just wanted to come out to see what a Kennett Square Borough Council meeting is like. Welcome. We're thrilled you're here. So let's get into the discussion items. Let's talk about the HARB 2 applications. Andy, could I ask you to come up and just briefly overview the 315 East Linden Street project?
If you don't mind, sir, I'd rather do 106 East State. That'll be simple.
Okay.
That actually is in Scarlet Alley. This is on the north side of the alley. They have a business in the building that would like to have more light. I believe it's a barber shop. They're going to replace 2 small windows with 1 larger window. It meets our requirements in terms of sizing, mass, and so forth. It fits the current exterior. They're keeping everything in line. So it's a relatively straightforward project, and I think it will enhance the building for the owner and for the renter.
And just for the minutes for the record and for everyone in the audience, I actually sent an email earlier today to our secretary, Rachel, just to say that I'm going to recuse myself from any discussion or voting on this, as my son is actually helping Kennett Collaborative with that project.
Okay.
So with that, first question, is there a motion to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the 106 West State Street project?
I'll move to certify that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any council discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. Andy?
Very good. Moving on to 315 East Linden Street. This is a renovation to an existing structure. If you have the application in front of you, they're redoing the front porch in a more traditional Kennett style with wood railings and steps, a standing seam metal roof on the top. That they're also adding to the rear an addition to give them a little more space, and redoing the walkway and the semi-deck that goes to that space. They're actually making that space look a lot nicer in terms of the roof over the portico over one of their outside doors is a different, is a smaller and more regular roof pitch, if you will. And the rear of the addition faces towards what is known as both Willow and Elm Streets. On the maps, it's very confusing, but it's quite a distance from that seldom used street. But everything is proportionate and architecturally similar to the existing structure.
Thank you. And to the committee. Is there a motion to issue a certificate of appropriateness for 315 East Linden Street?
So moved.
For a second?
I'll second it.
Council discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? It's unanimous. Item number 12.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. 12A, considering the sale of 115 North Broad Street to STE Holdings, proposed to be a golf simulator and sort of a wine hangout, a place. Kyle, background?
Sure. This is the site of our former police station. This proposal came forward last month following a competitive bidding process. The last offer was at $525,000. We countered at $550,000. The buyer is willing to go to that number. So the action item tonight is the sale of the property.
Thank you very much. Let's start with, is there a motion first to accept the agreement of sale for the Kennett Square property at 115 North Broad Street from STE Holdings LLC?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Council discussion? Thank you, Charlie, for coming out. Two questions I have. One is, Andy, has our council reviewed this and are we comfortable with the agreement as it is now?
Yes.
Thank you. Charlie, there was a question last month about whether the proximity to the church on East Linden was an issue or not.
Yes, it is not. I believe Mr. Corrado actually went out and measured from there are two of interest. One is now, I believe, an apartment building. And the other one is greater than 500 feet or whatever.
Great. Thank
So-
you. Are there other council discussion? Any brief public comment?
John Thomas, 6 South Broad. Where will this money go to? Back, will it go to pay off debts on real estate we own?
This is built into the funding for our capital projects this year.
Well, why would, when you sell real estate, you should take take $500,000 off this building?
What was that?
You should take your money you get from selling your property, our property, and close this debt then by $500,000.
You could. The budget decided to put it into capital projects for this year.
Any other?
I'm telling you as a citizen, I would
Yep.
pay our debt.
Any other comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, you bought yourself an old police station.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
I might visit voluntarily. Thank you.
Thank you for coming with a great project.
Yeah.
It fits the neighborhood and the town really well. So thanks for coming with such a great project.
Their next item is to consider the appointment of Mariani Hernandez to the ALCOA, the Advisory Committee on Latin Affairs. I'm not sure if he's able to join us. Okay, forgive
She
me.
just walked in.
Would you like to say a couple of words? You're not obliged to, but you're more than welcome to. Yeah, please, just so people online can hear you.
Righty. Yeah, so I would like to, I don't know if this is an official acceptance, but I'd like to.
Not yet.
Okay.
Hopefully it will be shortly.
Okay, yes, I would like to be considered for a COLA. I spoke last month about it. So the reason why I would like to be taking into consideration is because I do work for Mighty Riders, and we are big on helping the Latino community. And as I said last month when I was here, I would have liked to be not taking, well, I would have liked to know that ACOLA existed because I didn't know this was a organization. And now that I know, I really want to be part of it to really put a word out there for the Latinos that would like to be heard. I think that's it.
That's plenty. Thank you very much. I will add though that one of the things that I found most intriguing was it sounds like you're a first generation immigrant
Yes.
to the United States and had to go through what a lot of our prior generations have gone through in terms of working very early and helping your folks out, and you trying to kind of settle into sort of what the U.S. offers you now. And it's just a beautiful story. And we're thrilled that you want to volunteer and be part of that as well. At least I am, that's for sure.
Yes, to make the long story short, I came here when I was 7 years old. And I would have liked to have the same opportunities for my mother that I do have now. So that is another reason why I would also like to be part of the ACOLA. Yeah, just to help out.
Terrific.
Yep.
Any other council discussion?
No, just excited to see a Kennett graduate.
Yes, I think you were my Girl Scout
Leader.
Leader, yes.
There you go. Another Kennett grad. There you go. Is there a motion to approve Mariani Hernandez as a member of Alcoa?
I'll approve her.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very appropriate. Kyle or Nick, our 2024 audit. It's unusual to have an audit done this early. I know it's already July, but it's unusual to have it done this early. The system seems to be working as well as the people doing it. Kyle, do you want to introduce it?
Very briefly, and then I'll let our expert really talk to it. But this is, as you said, another clean audit. That's remarkable for a small operation to have enough controls in place to do that. So it's really a credit to Nick, our assistant director, Mike, and the teams that came before all of us that we've continued the streak. Nick, do you want to say anything more?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up. It's, I mean, it's a very extensive process. Ultimately, the finance department is responsible for the audit, but as I say every year, we wouldn't be able to prepare this and get this kind of report without the help of everyone and everyone keeping good records and being able to provide information to me that is not in my realm of my job duties, but is included in this comprehensive report. I do want to say that we have this is the report on the financial statements overall. We have another report, a separate report coming. It is a single audit, and it's a special audit that we had to have performed due to us spending over $750,000 in federal funds in 2024. We expect that report hopefully by the end of the month as well.
Thank you. Is there a motion to, will the Finance Committee review it, Joel, and recommend approval?
Yes, we did.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the 2024 audit as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kathleen. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much, Nick and team, for getting that done. Let's talk about the revolving loan fund. What is it, Kyle, and what are you proposing?
Sure, this is technically two funds, pots of money, going back years, probably a decade or more from the state. It is funds to be able, the idea is to be able to rejuvenate older properties, to allow business owners to take out loans, to be able to do that and be able to afford that. It was a casualty of COVID that it stopped meeting and it hasn't started up again. It's well overdue to restart. So the action tonight is to formally, it's to appoint some members because we've had some turnover, but it's also just to advertise and to sort of get it out to the community. So I will be a member. Our finance director, Nick, will be a member. Our assistant finance director, Mike, will actually serve as the economic development director. That role, because when it was established, we had that role on staff. Councilmember Sprick will be the council member on it, and Councilmember Norris would be the business person at large on it. So that allows us to have some good continuity with our finance committee while still keeping open about a handful of spots for public. So if approved tonight, we would then advertise for those open positions with the next email.
How many open seats are there?
I can't remember offhand. I think it was about a handful.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the restarting of the revolving loan fund committee as presented?
I'll move to restart the revolving loan fund.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Timothy. Council discussion?
This was, as a former business owner in town, this was a fund that was often used to help startup businesses maybe redo their awning, like maybe the updates to any other facades. So keeping it sort of not in the hands of like one big building need, or getting it passed around to some of the smaller businesses and startup businesses as they come into town, and it helps alleviate some of the cost. I think is a great thing, and I'm happy to see it back in use.
Just, I have two quick questions. Is the same bank the current loan manager?
Yes.
So the same bank is, once the committee gets started again, can we get a breakdown of the existing loans?
Yes.
We gave out a lot of COVID loans for those that weren't on council that are in the committee, but we put together emergency funds for businesses in town and gave out loans between $10,000 and $20,000. I'd love to see kind of where they are, if they've been repaid, any in default or anything like that. I think it would be good to get an update on that. We did I think we did at least 2 rounds of funding on that.
Yes, we can do that.
Thanks.
Thanks. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. The next 2 items revolve back to the State Street revitalization study that we talked about at length the last 2 meetings that we had in June. There's 2 separate discussions that we'll have. The first one is purely administrative. Does the council accept that the work was done to the level that it was done? So that's purely the administrative. We'll get into the second one in a second. But with that, is there a motion to approve or accept the State Street revitalization study results?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Council discussion. It's really administrative. Any council discussion?
This is to get our funds.
To basically get the grant funds back into the borough, correct? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So that passes. The next part, certainly look forward to some comment if there is any, is to take the 5 concepts. If you remember the 5 concepts, it was State Street entrance as you come down Miller's Hill on the right-hand side, basically beautifying that. The second concept was a church alley in the parking lot and improving or changing the looks of that. The third one was Apple and Sycamore alleys, improving or changing the looks of that. The third one was North Union Street as you come down by the garage, trying to show that you're in Kennett or coming into Kennett. And then the fourth one, the fifth one, E, was work at the Liberty Place parking lot between the pie shop and Liberty Place, and potentially a garage and that sort of thing. So those were the comments. What I've asked council to do, and would welcome the same from anyone who would like to, is council and Mr. Mayor, do you have a ranking? If you were going to do them, how would you rank them? We have no funds whatsoever to do this. They're not in our capital plan. We don't have any money to do these. These are just a wish list. And the question tonight for all of us is, do any of them belong on the wish list in the event that someday we have funds to do them? It's that futuristic. So please don't be concerned. Nothing is happening tomorrow. I doubt anything will happen next year. It'll be into the future if any of them are done. And if they're done, we'd obviously have to study and determine much more detail than this back of the envelope sort of approach. So I just want to make sure everyone knows it's not happening anytime in the near future. This is a wish list. Do they belong on the wish list or not? So with that, I'll just take a quick poll from council. Do you have a ranking of the projects that you would like to see done? Is Council Member Fate still on the line right now? Ellie, would you like the microphone? Would you like to kind of share your perspective or ranking, or not? You think?
Of the ones, I think the one that involved Apple Alley would be my highest priority. I wasn't too keen on either of the entryway ones just because I'm not opposed to having the entryways improved, but I didn't think those designs were particularly appealing. So and then I'd say the parking lot would be absolutely bottom of the list.
Thank you, Ellie. Julie, would you like your ranking?
Very much conceptual, and like what we have been talking about is like, that's like a wish list of a concept. Like we could also really modify the concept to be more basic, based on, the grants we would receive. So the truth is that those plans aren't necessarily futuristic in the way that the space will look. It's just more conceptually, we like these spaces and want to improve them.
Do you have your own personal thoughts?
I like the gateways, and I also like the inside of town. I do not like.
Just going down the line, Joel?
Yeah. It's basically same thing. I like the idea of, Apple and Sycamore more than I do either parking lot, and both entryways are good ideas to improve. I would do them differently than suggested, but yeah.
Kathleen?
Entryways, gateways into town have always sort of popped up on the radar in the last 20 plus years that I've been here. So I'd like to see those improved, or thought through. But I'd also like to add 2 other ones. There's 4 entrances into town. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't include down by Cypress and Mill, which is a major new sort of addition to town, and might help down there, as well as you come in from by the high school. So I would be more interested in sort of focusing on how do we make our entrance more desirably pleasing.
Thank you. Matt?
I did not like the specific concept drawings for the gateways, but I do think gateway improvement, especially as it helps with traffic calming, pedestrian awareness, and saying you're entering the borough. I would love to see a 4-point entry gateways as a priority for me. I think there's other nice things, but knowing that you now come to town and drawing attention to pedestrian traffic, especially on Union and State, if we, that pedestrian area and drawing attention to it would be a priority for me.
Thank you. Timothy?
Definitely a priority for me would be the gateways, especially coming in eastern side. I think just coming off of the flats with all those trees that are falling over. And I would love to just clean up that area, first introduction, before we come into the great town. That would be my number one priority, and probably the parking would probably be my least favorite. But conceptually, I think we're getting there.
Thank you. For what it's worth, I had the State Street entrance as my top priority of the list that we had. You just drive down the road and there's stuff hanging all over the place. Just even throwing some flowers and trimming and just making it a bit prettier to me would be number one. Number two for me was Apple Sycamore, not necessarily the concepts that we saw, but we've talked about it at Kennett Collaborative. I'd love to see, sort of the maybe a little Mexican flair or South American flair to have sort of the town center concept that is so common in lots of smaller towns in South America and even Europe. North Union coming down another entrance. I guess we're all kind of saying that entrances seem to be a priority for us. I'd put Church Alley last or fourth, and I'd drop the Liberty Place concept. I just think the value for the huge numbers there are just not worth it. So, Kyle, Lexi, you have our 2 cents for what it's worth. Love to hear similarly briefly if anyone in the audience would like to share a comment of your priority. That would be great. Thank you, Andy.
I'll go first. Andy Froning, 308 Marshall Street. I wish I could be more excited about this, but we have so many other challenges in the borough, whether it be housing or jobs or lots of other things. I would like to see us spend some time thinking about if we were able to get money to do things, that we do different things. I'm not sure this is the best use of our rather limited resources.
Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you. Just please, one speaking at a time.
John Thomas, 406 South. I think this is entirely a waste.
Just a little closer, John.
I think it's entirely a waste of time.
Okay, thanks.
Now, wait a minute, I'm not done. I think you ought to vote to bring it up once a year, keep it, improve it, but every year bring it up so you don't waste your time. But you have no money? I've seen all this stuff for.
That's exactly what we're doing. We have no money for it. It's not on the short
I'd
list.
vote to bring it up once a year.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good idea.
Yes. Charlotte Watson, 523 Magnolia Street in Kennett Square. It's a waste of time. Shouldn't even took up any air in the room. What's the status of our debt? And the street is already ruined, the road itself, beside other roads in this town. And we're talking about having caviar. Let's give it a break. It's ridiculous. And if anything infringes on the traffic ways, the width of the road for us to drive through, that's already in a hazardous situation when you make the bend up there by the old paper store, the old bar, whatever we know it as. And I don't know what you got up there now. Kennett Mushrooms, I guess, is in the area. When you turn that curve, there's not room for anything. We don't need anything to narrow those lanes. And when you come down Miller's Hill, that's the flats. You should understand that when it's inclement weather, you got everything in your hands to get down there from the top to the bottom and get that speed reduced, because it's naturally centrifugal force is pulling you down. So let's think about these things. And some of these people are just trying to do something for their only personal gain. Always trying to beautify. You think we don't like beautiful things? But we like practical things too.
Hi, Peter Doring, property owner in Kennett. Thanks for 315 East Linden, by the way. So just a couple thoughts on this. So I think I agree with the sentiment that, we've got to make sure this works with the budgets. But the other perspective I want to offer is that when you look at these projects at first glance, they seem to be focused on kind of bringing more visitors into Kennett as opposed to obviously benefiting the Kennett residents. But the one caveat I'll offer there is that there are 2 other projects that have the potential to create a very interesting, safer bicycle corridor along State Street. So if you do, for example, the State Street number A, the entrance down Miller's Hill, and you also do the gateway that comes down Union, you have the potential to create a much safer bicycle corridor from Walnut all the way over to Mill, using Linden and Maple as streets. Right now, one of the barriers, if you see my daughter and her aide biking around town, is that there aren't safe places to cross Union. So having that kind of pedestrian gateway at Union would greatly facilitate that. Likewise, if you get the project as proposed that has the bike path along the north side of State Street from Walnut over to the new entrance at the park, you're creating the potential for a nice loop that will get you eventually somehow up Walnut, and that could get you into the park. And then that's where you get onto Maple to do a safe route all the way across town. So if you think about it from a bicycle perspective, it has a lot of potential, and I'm happy to chat more if anybody's interested.
Thank you.
Holly Peters, 109 South Broad Street. I know that you know that this will directly affect my building because my building runs along Apple Alley for the entirety of one block that goes back to that Church Street alley. These plans should have involved, once again, I will say it again, the stakeholders of the town, which is the citizenry, some representation, and some people from the merchants. And we weren't represented from the beginning. That said, I think it would be best to scrap these plans and start over with a group that does represent what the citizens and what the merchants would best benefit from, as well as council and the others. But I find it interesting. One, we did contact the borough after the last meeting, and we were told that we were just going to be voting tonight on paying for the consultant. So that has shifted again. So now we're talking about it again. And I have that in writing in an email. And that's frustrating for me because I do try to stay on top of this stuff. I think that's frustrating. And then the other thing is, where are the plans? We always say they're 10% baked or we're not going to have money, but guess what? Money comes up. And what it seems to me like we're signing off on tonight are these plans that have been revised that were like scantily shown here at the last meeting. No, other than the folks that are working on this, nobody has really seen what's coming down the pipeline. And that's not good. 4 points signage. I think several people also came up with that. We said that at the meeting when you had it for the merchants. Many people said that. That needs to be tabled and discussed in a modest way. Again, I go back to the alleys. The alleys are the functional arteries of a town, and put a sidewalk in there, but to take people's parking lot and their parking capacity and their ability to use their own building, including getting in and out of their garage and loading and unloading, it's selfish to think that anybody should entertain that as something that would benefit the town. I'm not for any of it. And I don't for 1 second see how putting a plaza in a parking lot where parking is already something that people fight about, I just don't see it. Put it in this parking lot where people can park and be happy and do their thing. But that's my opinion. And really what needs to happen is this needs to go back to the drawing board. And there's no shame in that. It's not a bad idea that it came up as a topic, but it needs to be revised and not just marched forward with. And new people need to be on the committee.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your comments. Again, there is nothing on the books. Everything that's been done, you're aware of. That's the details of the plans, their concept. Nothing is going forward at this point, and there's no plans for any of them either. Next item on the agenda is consider the accept. Oh, I'm sorry.
Last
Troy.
item.
Yeah.
When we had the discussion around the revitalization, one of the things that had come up was Gish has dedicated handicap parking there. And I know that that was an outstanding issue on, it says for that merchant only. And again, it was a corollary of what we were discussing, but did we ever get a definitive that that should not be used for one specific proprietor in there?
I don't think we have, but we certainly will for the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll get the definitive. I believe that those parking spaces are actually owned by the property, but we'll get the real answer from our council for the next meeting.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I couldn't find it in the deeds.
Yeah.
So,
We'll find out for sure.
okay.
Can you action yourself and Mike? Andy, thank you. It's a good question though. Thank you very much for your comments. The next item is to consider the acceptance of the Brandywine Conservancy mini grant. Kyle?
Sure, we applied for this several months ago. It's a small grant program by the Brandywine Conservancy. They have since offered us $5,000 as a matching grant to provide trees and landscaping to our new entryway to make it more inviting for the public coming in.
Council discussion first. Do have the staff, whoever, I'm not sure if that's Rob or Lexi or whoever are experts, do we know what species are being used and we're comfortable with them and the height? I'm just looking of sight distances and getting in and out of parking lots and that sort of thing. I love the idea of trees and flowers, but has thought been put into that?
Yeah, Lexi and Joe have gotten a proposal to figure out the price, but we still need to go through and do all the details.
Okay, just making sure sight lines and that sort of thing, as well as maintenance, you know, having to cut them and clip them and all that sort of stuff. And note, just we need to note, I'm sure you do already, but we can't use any staff time as part of the matching. It has to be dollars. So other council comments? We'll get into, is there a motion to authorize the acceptance of funding of the 2024-2025 Brandywine Creek Greenway mini grant?
I'll move to accept the grant.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Is there any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Personnel manual. I know that our team has been working on it quite a bit. Most of the changes are administrative. There are a number of changes that are tightened up in the ethics area, resignations, longevity pay, holidays, sick leave, FMLA, workplace violence, electronic communication, social media. Those are all things that I think have finally been updated and brought up to pace. Kyle, give us the background, or the Personnel Committee, Kathleen.
I'll start, but obviously legal and Councilmember Kakamo. This is meant to be a, for lack of a better word, administrative update. So this has been probably 10 plus years since it's been updated. It's well overdue. So we tried to tighten it up, bring it into compliance with current law. There should not be significant policy changes in there. That was not the objective of this portion of the process.
Thank you. Kathleen, anything you want to add? Council discussion? Is there a motion to accept the updated, meaning the July 1st, 2025 personnel manual?
I'll move to update the personnel manual.
Or a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie. Any other council discussion?
I'm just asking procedurally because I don't know. Does staff get a chance to look this over before we approve it?
This was reviewed by myself, our deputy manager, and legal counsel.
So the only caveat to that, Kathleen, is just that now that once it's approved, the only final step will be for Mr. Gerber to just go through and make final format and pagination changes to it. So your approval will just be subject to format and pagination by the solicitor. That's all.
And to further, our other solicitor, Mr. Gerber, will hold a training session with all of staff to walk through this, which is common practice.
Thank you. If there's anyone that's had a chance to actually review the manual that's online that has expertise in HR or thoughts. Oh, it's not online. Okay. So I guess there's probably no comment.
The edited portions of it will be shared online.
Okay.
So everyone can see what action is being taken tonight.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you. Sorry. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. The next item is the approval of the bills. Joel?
Yes, sir. As mentioned, Finance Committee met last month and voted to recommend these bills to be paid in the total of $775,969.46.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the bills.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. And now we've got the minutes, the first of June 2nd minutes. Is there a motion to approve the June 2nd minutes?
Oh, so moved.
Thank you, Julie. Joel, is there a second?
Yes.
Any council edits or changes, suggestions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And the June 4th council meeting minutes, is there a motion to approve them as presented?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Kathleen. Is there a second? Thank you, Timothy. Edits, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Public comment. Love to hear public comments as it pertains to the meeting, the town. Andy, thank you very much. Please limit it to 4 minutes and please try to be civil.
Yeah, I would, is it on? Okay. Very interesting meeting tonight. I don't think the public had any say in anything. I think you people just push things through, just, I don't know, helter skelter. I don't know what the hell you're doing. And the parking lot, Bosley, I'd give him notice right now. Because in 10 years, none of you people will be here. If we lock him in for another 10 years, new people won't be here. Give him notice now that you'll negotiate when the time is right. Don't give him another 10 years. That's crazy. You don't know what the town's going to be like in 10 years. So give him notice that when his time is up, this time, you will negotiate. You want to give him 3 years, give him 2 years. 10 years is an awful long time. And and the meeting the other night on the VF was pretty good, except we didn't. You guys aren't going to listen to us. We know how dirty that place is. I worked with George Beer for 15 years. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. When he gets something in his mind, he'll do it. And he won't care about you, the borough, or anybody else. I quit him after a while. I lost more deals with him than a game. He gets so far and then he raised the ante or he changed something. He promised him anything. I do all this work and then he changed something. If you listen to George Beer, Rockhopper will own you. I mean, that place is dirty. And you got to give these people notice. If you're going to build housing on there, you got to give everybody notice that they're buying on a dirty field. And if they decide to do it, that's shame on them. But we got to protect ourselves. It's a dirty, dirty business. And I still don't know where any railroad car took stuff out of there. It had to stop the train in the middle of the park, his lot, because there's no offshoot there. So don't tell me he took dirt out of there and put it on the train. He didn't do that. I'm telling you, he'll lie to you like a rug. So.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Charlotte Watson, 523 Magnolia Street. One thing I forgot to say about the streetscapes coming into town. The one thing that I wanted to say is for the parking lot in back of the library, I don't know whether it's so vague here when you're saying things, it's not explicit, it's not enunciated, it's not explained out. So we don't know a lot of times what you are saying. And the one thing was when you said, senior moment, hon, let me have it. But you said, you know who those parking spaces belong to, where the handicap was. That's strange because I bought the deed here. I bought the deed here.
We're going to get the answer, though.
I bought the deed here from the county courthouse. Can't get no better than that. And it was us. 6 parking spaces. They couldn't be given to Mr. Gish because you have to dispose of public property in a special way. Okay, so you just can't take a stroke of a pen and do things. Plus the Second Baptist Church. I got the deed if you need it. The second,
It'll save the borough some money. so-
okay, I got the deed. He has it. Excuse me, Kakakamo had it because I gave it to her right before the vote. At that meeting. Not only do I have the deed, but I also have the surveyor's information. Okay? Now moving on to another thing, Second Baptist Church uses that parking lot. And they have been almost run into a corner since the library's gotten there. I went to a service there on Saturday. There's really no place for them to park. There are people park clear up there and walk down, especially if they're going to have a crowd, larger, from the whole families are coming back that used to live here. And the minister's wife was talking to me about the back area not being able to walk through decently because there's some kind of barrier, whether it was weeds or not. And I said, I'd pass that on. Rob. But the other thing is this, if it was only conceptual about the parking lot and the entryways, why don't you leave that alone and leave it up to the next council or the one there afterwards in that futuristic age when it comes to be? So I see people pushing things through that they want. Now, NVF, it was a disgrace. Don't call me to no meeting for me to give you my questions to ask about NBF. I called Mr. Dustin Lippick again today. We had an extensive conversation of why it's important to get NVF here with anybody who calls themselves the owner, whatever conglomerate they got their name under, the experts they work with, and the people in charge of cleaning up the contamination so that the citizens could have what they deserve. And what is procedurally always done here, a question answer section where we get to ask about those PCBs. We get to ask about that holding tank that cannot be torn down, but the new people think it can because the mortar is saturated with the PCBs. We get to hear about the 18 electrical boxes. We get to hear about the swale. We get to hear about the contributory that not only goes on the property, but off of it. We get to hear about the 3 topical areas that surround it that is also a part of the Superfund. Now, I know you're going to throw me out of here, but I want to tell you this. Wyeth Laboratories, as we sit, has dirt 40 or 50 feet high. Sent Rob pictures of it from my phone. Dump trucks going to the top of it. And that's a Superfund site cleaning itself up. And it's either that much dirt they're taking out or that much dirt they're putting back in. I had the opportunity to go to Mulberry Street in someone's home and look at the whole thing. Why are the concrete pads of the factory still there? Why haven't that been dug down? Because that's where the PCPs were. Why not outside of those things? Because that's where an aluminum building sat, around barrels.
Thank you, Ms. Watson.
Yeah, well, you're not worried about our contamination.
We are.
No, he's not, because you talk about here. You don't talk about it behind the scenes. You do it here.
Thank you.
That's the way you do business in a government.
Is there anyone else that has?
America's showing you that. We get that meeting, I'll have my floor. Believe it, I'm fighting for that meeting.
Thanks, Troy.
All right. Appreciate the legal perspective on the LGB property on the 2 lots. The one question I had about that is since the inception of those leases, which has gone many 10-year leases, he's enjoyed an exempt status, even though there's an assessed value of those 2 lots, I think like $65,000. He's never paid any tax on that. When I talked to Chester County assessments, they said that should have been flipped from an exempt to non-exempt, and he should be subject to taxation. So that was where I was going with that. Now, they considered anything a lifetime would be 99 years. Now, they're in the gray area because it's 10 years, but it's gone many 10-year. So again, that's kind of where I was going with that is, wait a second, the town's losing money here. And again, back to your point is, do we just end that agreement and then make it so that he is subject to tax, that our school gets the tax funding, our town gets the funding? Okay. The other one is 106 West State Street. That's Kennett Collaborative. It enjoys an exempt status and has anywhere from 3 to 6 for-profit leases there. The deed actually has rental liens against it for the people there. I will send this to council. I can send it to you as well. Okay, and I'll send it to you, Kyle. We've talked about this. By looking at that and looking, their assessed value is 300 some thousand, I believe. And they pay no taxes, even though they have rental properties in there. So again, this is more what Kyle and I have been talking about is inventory all the exempt properties, make people pay what everybody else is paying as a small business. That's it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Daniel Embry. I'm the director of Kennett Collaborative. Kennett Collaborative is a 501c3 nonprofit and therefore tax exempt organization. This is very common. There's lots of nonprofits, many of them own property, so it's very common. Churches, for example, are tax exempt nonprofits who own property, and but there's all kinds of categories of nonprofit. It's just nonprofits exist. I would also like to just point out that we provide a lot of services to the town that if we provide those services at the cost of donations that have been made to us and our own efforts to fundraise and create programs and raise revenue, and including the rental revenue on that building. So the rental revenue that we're collecting at 106 West State pays for the Christmas tree at the holidays and the Third Thursday events. And the farmers
Hudson,
market.
please have respect for the speaker. People don't speak when you're speaking. Could you please give the speaker the courtesy?
Thanks, Bob. I'm great. So anyway, we provide a lot for this town that if we were not to exist as a nonprofit organization, all of that service, if it was to be wanted, would fall to the taxpayer. So we are saving the taxpayer quite a bit of money, a lot more than anyway. So just wanting to clarify that for the council and the public. Thank you.
Thank you. That should be a black and white answer. I mean, that is something we can certainly get the answer to. So I think it's fair to bring it up and certainly understand.
We've already started, so we'll have a real answer for the next council. We've already reached out to the appraiser's office at the county, so we will have a real answer.
Thank you. Like this building, portions of this building, I believe, correct me, are tax exempt and portions are not. So Sandy.
Sandy D'Antonio, 220 North Broad Street. I'm here on behalf of my neighbors about the property on North Broad Street, the Chester County. But I don't know if it was the Planning Commission, but they had a meeting the beginning of June 6th or June 7th, and they have not been notified if their neighbor has gotten approval, even though Borough did not approve the addition. My neighbors couldn't be here. Their children had other events, so they need an answer. They didn't get a letter.
Do we know anything more, Andy?
If they can't show up, then too bad for them. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Heading ornery.
I don't know the answer to that, but my guess is, and this is an educated guess, I'm imagining that the court hasn't made a decision. It was probably taken under advisement and they haven't made a decision, but I will tell you what, I will check tomorrow and let Kyle know and he can let you know with a specific answer on that. But I'm 99% sure that's what the answer is going to be.
Okay. Well, I thank you. Thank everybody. That's all I have to say tonight.
Thank you.
Standing after that meeting was that the judge said they were gonna, so it wasn't gonna be an immediate response. So
Thank you. Any other comments?
Holly Peters, 109 South Broad Street. I had a question and I might have not heard it. You might have already said it, but what was the cost of that consultant
On the revitalization?
on the revitalization project?
It was a grant. I'm not sure what the.
Yeah, the total cost was 50,000, and there was 30,000 of grants.
Okay, all right. Well, that said, again, I think it would behoove us to revitalize it ourselves. I don't think we needed to spend that money, and it would have been nice to know that before we voted on any of it.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Margaret Opplinger, 251 North Broad Street. I don't know what this Brandywine Conservancy mini grant is, but I don't think we should be matching any funds for anything. I don't know what that is. I mean, you're pay, I'm asking anybody. I mean, there was no about any of these things. I didn't know where Apple Alley and Sycamore and all these things that these are all things that you're approving, but yet there's not even, you don't even have like a slide or anything for anybody to look at. I have no idea what these things are. What is the Brandywine Conservancy mini grant for?
$5,000 grant from the Brandywine Conservancy that requires a $5,000 match from the borough to add trees and landscaping as you enter the Borough Hall.
Out here?
Yes, well,
Didn't we just already plant stuff?
this is
It
the
costs money to do that. That's what we're using that money for.
But you already did plant it, right? Out here by the police station? It's all planted.
There's some small trees out there. This is adding to it.
Okay.
Just one at a time, please.
All right. I just don't, you went through these things pretty quick and I don't know where any of them are. I
They,
mean,
they should all be on the website, Rachel. Yeah, I mean, the policy manual I was wrong about, I apologize, but I think everything else was on the website or should be on the website.
okay.
Like the revitalization slides, I believe were there. Yeah. Okay. Any other comment? Sorry.
Todd Opplinger, 251 North Broad Street. It gets talked about, things get pushed around here and there. And I know this, all of a sudden I was like, I'd rather ask somebody away from here, but it comes up here. There was money in the general fund to upgrade the electrical in the parking garage that was taken away. But that money was, the parking garage upgrade was required by the insurance company. So I'm interested, did the money get put back? Did the electrical get upgraded? Or did our rates go up on insurance? And is the parking garage viable if the electrical didn't get upgraded? Thank you.
So the general fund is separate from the parking fund. So when you pay for a parking pass or you pay a parking ticket or you do repairs to the parking garage, that stays in that fund. So the borough can always choose to send money from the general to any fund, but it can't work the other way. So we had a project in the parking fund. Our insurance provider just came out. I don't believe they noted that as something that has to be done now, though we should get to it. It's just a question of capital and funds to be able to do it. So we want to, but we're just struggling to have the funds. But it's a different fund. It's general fund versus parking fund.
That's what I'm saying.
The parking fund is hurting desperately because of Genesis not being in there and using the parking lot. So that's what's really hurting there. Thanks very much for coming out this evening. The next meeting is Monday, August 4th. Again, Monday, August 4th. There's only one meeting in August, so you know that. Thanks, everyone. Drive safe.
Individual citizens were talking instead of collectively.
Yeah. Sure.